Here we are again, back to our English service. And today,
Uh-huh.
in our special program, gonna interview this guy right here that you're watching, Alexander Jones. Hi, Alexander. How are you?
Hi, how are you today?
I'm fine, thanks. Alexander, just in order to the people know, okay, he he's the husband of a friend of ours, Ariane, and they also the fathers of the parents of Jason's parents. So send a hug to Jason, okay? Later. God
Okay.
bless you and your
I
family.
will.
All right.
Thank you.
Alexander, thank you one more time for talking to us today. As you know, we are Brazilian, but this is an opportunity to study in English, to meditate upon God's word. And the idea of this interview came because we have a special program now in July. This is anniversary of the English service. So just now getting to the point, right? First, let's talk a little bit about your life in order to the people know you. You are a police officer, right, in US.
Correct.
All right. Are you FBI or another
No,
force?
no. I work as a federal police officer for the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs Police. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs Police is federal hospitals that take care of veterans coming back from war, and we
Oh,
provide, yeah, law enforcement, security. We deal with a lot of problems that that veterans have. We protect the staff and visitors that come to the Department of Veterans Affairs. So it's another federal agency of the U.S. government.
all right. I got it. I got it. And well, we were talking live from US. You live in Orlando, right?
Correct.
But about your personal life, where were you born? I mean, city, state. Are you from Florida or other state?
I was born in Passaic, New Jersey, and I lived there for a time. And then my mother decided she didn't want to live in New Jersey no more, so she just took me, went down to Miami, and
Yeah.
without telling my father, of course. And so my father chased her down to Miami, and been in Florida ever since. Lived in Miami for a time. Then my father later moved to Orlando for work, and been there ever since.
Oh, I see. I see. And which one's better, New Jersey or Miami? Just kidding. Okay, don't get
Oh,
you.
forget about New Jersey. Ugh, I'm never going back.
Okay. Well,
Hmm.
as you're already a Christian, right? So that's why
Yes.
first
Hmm.
first case we decided to make this interview. So
Hmm.
talking about faith, have you came from a Christian family or not?
Um, I actually, when I was growing up, my mother believed in a little bit. We never even went to church. My father um, is atheist, so he
Oh, really?
never even talked about church. Yeah. Um, I guess I believed in my own way. I didn't really take to believe in what he did, but honestly, I would never. And honestly, when I went and then I went in the military because I did 20 years in the military too. And probably the first time I ever went to church, it was in boot camp. So you had the choice in boot camp. You can either clean the barracks or you can go to church. So I said, well, I guess I'm going to go to church. That's on a Sunday. So that was my first time I ever went to church. Is in the Navy in San Diego in boot camp. So that was the first time, and then I was okay. Yeah, this is not bad. And I like that was actually a Catholic or a chaplain, so
Hmm.
he was nice. He was good. And then every now and then I would go, but I wasn't going regularly until I met my wife. When I met my wife, she got me into the church. I never really thought about. I mean, I would pray in my own way and say, hey, but but it probably didn't become serious to me until like about around 1999, and I started getting seriously going to church every Sunday.
I see, I see. Yeah. That was supposed to be the next question, right? So you consider yourself a Christian since '99?
Yeah, actively.
Okay. And what church do you go today? U.S. Baptist or
Yeah,
another church?
it's a Presbyterian church.
Really? Oh, that's nice. That's nice. We are now at a Presbyterian church here as well. And so, before we get into the more serious part, right, of the conversation, just to finish this first part of your personal life, in order to the people who know you, how long have you been married to Ariane?
Since October 1st of 1999.
All right. So, at the same time, yeah, God gave you the wife and bring you to church and brought you to church,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
it's funny. It's funny because I even believed as I thought I was the type to never get married. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm not the type to never get married. I've been all over the world. I was just like, do I even have time to get married? And it's just like, I said, well, if I get a woman, then it's going to be probably a miracle that, someone in my job always move on the move, it's actually a miracle problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And do you plan more kids? Are you planning more
No,
kids?
I'm done. No, I got enough gray hair. Thank you.
Okay, that's nice. So now, as people already know you, a little bit, right? What you do, where you live. So let's get into the more serious part. Let's say this way of the conversation. First, as you told us, right? People who are watching and that are going to watch, you are a police officer, right? So,
Yes.
how is to be a Christian and a police officer at the same time? Do you have any struggles, or did you have any struggles with it?
I don't think about it that much, religion, because there's so many different people with different religions, whether it's Muslim, Christianity, or some of them, all kinds of religions. So the two things you really got to worry about: religion and politics. You don't want to bring that up in a workplace, because sometimes some people get offended, and then you can turn something that was just a small case or a small problem and turn it into a big problem. It says, well, I'm offended by you or something. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful. If they say they're a Christian and, it's like, okay, I'm a believer too, then, and you want to establish a rapport with that person. But if the opportunity presents itself, then yeah, sure. I would do that.
Yeah. And have you passed through this, an opportunity to experience your faith at job? I mean,
Yeah, occasionally, occasionally it happens. I mean, I deal with a lot of people that under like high stress, and then they people have thoughts of suicide, and try to talk them out. Hey, that's not the answer. Try to give them the help they need. I deal with that like almost every day at work. At least 2 to 3 times a week we get a case like that.
I see. That's nice. God bless you. And yeah, as we say, we must be Christians every time, everywhere, right? Including in our jobs. That's. But I ask you this because many people think, oh, how can a person be Christian and be a police officer or military, for example, right? Can use guns and this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And, yeah.
my answer to that is that usually the bad guys, they don't care. I mean, you got some bad people out there, and a lot of times they want to do whatever they want to do, take your money, take your car, and they won't even think 1 second at all. So I'm there to protect the innocent people from the bad guys. I mean, that's my job. It's the job of probably any normal police officer. I mean, from that's how I see it from my perspective.
Yeah, that's truth. And of course, it's a very important job. We know that. Well,
Hmm.
just getting to the point, I think while I was thinking about the questions that I may ask you, one of one of one question that came to my mind was about knowing that you were American, was about death penalty. I know this is kind of controversial. Here in Brazil, we don't have death penalty because our constitution doesn't allow it, you know. But talking in about your reality in US, right? Do you Are you against it? Do you approve it? And or you never thought about
Sorry.
it?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. I don't know. For some reason, the volume got turned down real low. I don't know what happened
Okay,
here.
doesn't matter. Don't worry. Now you're hearing.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm going.
All right. Can you
So
hear
have
me
you?
now?
Yeah, you got my question, or you want me to repeat?
Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, Death penalty here in Brazil. Our constitution doesn't allow death penalty, you know, but I know US it's a different reality. So, as American, a Christian, American Christian living in US, are you against death penalty or do you approve it or have you never? I don't ever thought about it. What would be your answer?
I- In regards to the death penalty, I'm like on the fence on that. I think it depends. If you have like a career criminal that's killed like 20, 50 people or something like that, then I would say I'm for the death penalty. But if it's somebody, it's really, it would depend on how heinous the crime is,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
yeah,
So if it's somebody that commits, let's say he kills somebody in a rage, something he didn't mean to do or whatever, and he commits murder. Okay, in my opinion, I'd say no, like life in prison maybe. But someone that's killed like a narco or that kills somebody every week or something like that, like 20, 30 people, then yeah, I think somebody like that should get the death penalty. Not to mention all the drugs that they put on the street that's actually killed people as well, you know.
yeah, yeah. I know it's a tough question, right? And that's why I ask you before we get live here, right? If I could do this
Hmm.
question. Yeah, I think that I agree with you. I think that there's no end here, no final point at this controversial, but I have to say that most part I agree with you, right? And as I said, I know here in Brazil we cannot have death penalty because our constitution doesn't allow it. But yeah, sometimes you see a human being making terrible things, right? And you think, oh my God, how can I punish this man or this woman?
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
hard, right? It's hard. But as Christians, we know that every sin may be uh, forgiven, right? If the person really repents himself or herself, right? But the point is, she or he needs to repent, right? He needs he needs
Mm.
to deliver his life to God and ask forgiveness. And despite he or she may go to heaven, the human consequences will endure, right? The human
Oh yeah,
consequences, you know.
absolutely.
So that's why I don't think that death penalty itself it's the problem. I think that the the major problem is to punish the right people, right? You
Hmm.
can't condemn an
Yeah.
innocent to right
Yeah, and then in the criminal justice system in the United States, it's by no means perfect. It's an imperfect system. It's a perfect system created by imperfect people. So by no
Yeah.
means is it perfect. And they have made mistakes in the past with people who've been sentenced to death, and some of them they made those mistakes, and they actually caught the mistake before they were actually carried out the sentence. So some of them are lucky, others haven't. I mean, they find out later, years later, that another person came forward and he was the person that committed the crime. So I mean, that's the downfall to a sentencing someone to death, that if you're going to do that, you better be 110% sure
Yeah.
that is the person who did it.
Yeah. And I think that's the major controversial, right? But this was just a question because as you are American, some people may wonder, right, about these things. But let's move on, okay? Yeah, and just to close this parenthesis, I'm gonna be a defense like you, right? Okay, don't worry.
Mm.
I think everyone must think by himself. But talking about coronavirus, let's talk a little bit about your life in US and American Christians, right? So, how coronavirus impacted your life, your church, your job? I mean, when this whole pandemic started last year, have you faced any difficulties in your job? How does it? How do you feel? Right? How do you feel? How did you feel?
For me, when how the COVID affected our job, it was for the most part, it was a minor adjustment, which just means we had to wear a mask. We just had to wear a mask when dealing with people. Wash our hands more. Kind of keep people from talking close to us and kind of taking a step back. So we had actually 4 of our police officers end up getting the COVID. We have 30 police officers and 4 of them end up getting it. One had to be hospitalized. So he's still recovering from that. He's got lung damage. He hasn't worked. He's working in dispatch, and he hasn't worked on the street since that time because his lungs, he can't even walk take a short walk without going out of breath.
Yeah, but you haven't caught the coronavirus, right? You haven't.
I'm sorry?
You haven't caught the coronavirus, right? You haven't
No,
caught.
I never got it.
Okay, praise God, praise God. I caught coronavirus last year, but I wasn't so in so bad shape. God protect me. Yeah, but
Oh, wow.
here in Brazil, this pandemic, right, uh, reflected and people thinking, oh my God, Brazil doesn't gives us the opportunities, and now we have to face this disease, whatever. And I think that by watching the people here in Brazil, right, by watching the majority of people, despite the
Mm-hmm.
pandemic, US still has a lot of uh, attraction upon Brazilian people.
Mm-hmm.
US has a tradition of receiving foreigners that immigrate looking for opportunity. You know that phrase, American dream. I want to live my
Mm-hmm.
American dream. As an American citizen, as a police officer, as a Christian, do you think, honestly saying, right, that US still offers the same opportunities to immigrants that used to offer in the past? Or if you have to give some advice to this one, oh, do you really want to come to US and make your life here? What would you say to those people in order to
Your audio. There's a problem with the audio again. You speak up?
oh, just a minute. Wait. Uh, technical problems. Ele foi pegar fone, tá, pessoal? Pra gente tentar acabar aí. Só um minutinho. Just a minute. And now? Better?
Oh, beautiful. Oh, that's even better. It was like, oh my God. That's like before the voice, your voice was just getting lower and lower. It's like, oh my God. I mean, I got okay hearing, but my hearing ain't that good.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Don't
Beautiful.
worry. That's
Okay.
live problem. Don't worry. I'm gonna say it again.
There's some minor adjustment.
Yeah, don't worry. Well, I was saying that despite the pandemic, US has a tradition of receiving a lot of foreigners that immigrate. You know, the American dream. I want to live my American dream.
Mm-hmm.
As an American citizen, a Christian, a police officer, do you honestly believe that US still offers that same opportunity that used to offer in the past? If you have to talk to someone that is looking
Mm-hmm.
for immigration, oh, I want to live in
Mm-hmm.
US. What would be your advice, to these people?
My advice would be do it the legal way and go through the embassy, American embassy, or the port of entries into the United States. Because I mean, if you try to go illegally and you get caught, I mean, there's going to be a penalty. And it's okay. I want to do illegal. Then, well, you're already here illegally. You're going to have to go back to your point of origin for like 5 or 6 years or whatever. I mean, I don't work immigration, so I couldn't tell the exact number. I know there's a penalty. Like you become coming in illegally. I think you got to wait 5 or 10 years just to, and then you'd be able to apply. So yeah, just do it legally, coming through the port of entry.
Yeah, yeah, we must do it everything the legal way, right? As Christians, of course,
Yeah, I
right?
mean
We wouldn't go
because
to a country and say
oh yeah,
illegal.
yeah, because all the problems on the border, you got guys that are human trafficking, they're smuggling people left and right through the U.S. border any way they can, either through whether it's drugs or people, to use however they choose, whether for sex trafficking or just using them to work in sweatshops and whatnot, Um, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what most of those people running the border, they got something to hide. You know,
Yes. Yes. And what's the best point of not best point? Let me say better. What's the best thing that you consider about US? I mean, oh, my country has this. I like this.
hmm
And what is the thing you don't like at most, right?
uh, I like probably the one thing I love about it is, the freedom that I can say what I want, and
We are not like
do what I
China,
want.
right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not going to get put in prison. Like my my mother was Cuban, so she left in 1967. Left Cuba, and she left right at a time before it actually started getting bad in Cuba with the under Castro. I mean, it was getting bad, but it slowly even got even worse than about the time that she left. But I mean, you can't even say nothing against the government there. I've talked to other Cubans, and then they say the same. They say the same thing. That or I said something, my friend said something, and they thought you have people watching you, what you say, what you do. You have no freedom at all. You got to wait for an hour on a bread line. I mean, that's to me, that's not even a life. I mean, without freedom, that freedom to do the things you want to do, and well, today I want a steak, or tomorrow I want a carne asada or something,
Yeah.
or I want an empanada. Um, what I mean, do I really want the government to tell me what to do every day of my life? Absolutely not. That's not a country I want to even live in or fight for.
Yeah, that's truth. That's truth.
Hmm.
And something that you need, that you think U.S. needs to improve. Um, what do you
Oh,
think?
oh my God! The one thing I cannot stand the politicians is this too many politicians. Nobody has any common sense. It's like I don't know. I seems like it's just getting worse, and the media amplifies it even more. You know that if you got people that are unwilling to work with each other, no one wants to take ownership over the problem. Nothing is going to get done. So that's the problem I think that we have now in the U.S. is just politicians that play too much politics and not enough
Yeah,
common sense. That's the
yeah, and
problem.
I think that's the problem here in Brazil as well. I'm not
Yeah.
going deeply into these questions because I don't want to get too involved in uh, politics, but
Mhm.
here in our conversation. But that's the truth. I have this same consideration,
Mhm.
and we're just getting to the end. But let's talk a little bit about faith and churches.
Mhm.
Uh, what is your comprehension about American Christians? U.S. has the tradition of being one of the countries that sent a lot of missionaries to the world, right?
Mhm.
In the
Yeah.
past,
Mhm.
and now, don't you think that American Christians are having a little struggles? Don't you think the churches are getting just a few members? What could you say about this? Your perspective.
I don't know much about that. I know, like the church where I'm at. They have a few people that are like doing missionary services overseas. From my, I can't really speak to that specifically, but I do know there's like maybe three or four people, that I know that or I've been told they're doing missionary services overseas. But I think a lot of it's just I mean, some people they it all depends if you have the money to do that too. I mean, you got to be able to also support your family on top of that too. So I don't even know if these guys are getting paid or anything from the church or something to supplement their incomes. I don't know. Um, I mean, also on the other hand, you have to be able to support your family back home while you're actually going out there and doing those things, those missionary services. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got it. I got it. But do you think US needs a revival, a new revival, a faith revival, or
Yeah. I mean, it couldn't hurt. I mean, there's always room for improvement. You're never at 100%. There's always you always time to train and to do better and to better yourself.
yeah, I got it. I got it. I think that the Christian faith is facing, sorry, the Christian faith is facing a struggle throughout the world, I don't
Hmm.
think it's only in US or Brazil.
Hmm. Yeah.
And one thing that is growing up a, a lot, and we're gonna have to face this, is Islamic faith, right? Islamics,
Oh yeah.
they
Absolutely. Hmm.
and that's
Oh yeah.
something that the church, I think the churches sometimes are not with eyes wide open to the circumstance. I
Hmm.
read an article that says in 2050, Muslims are going to be the major
Hmm.
faith in the world, and that's huge.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I've heard in London it's already a problem. Like in some areas of London, this is London now, that they impose in these Muslim neighborhoods that Sharia law where you can't drink a beer. Like I want to drink, so this is a Sharia controlled area. I say, well, I saw like on YouTube guys drinking a beer. This is a Muslim controlled area. So this is London. It's just
Yeah,
like, no, but this is Sharia control area. It's like, I just know me. If I'm sitting there drinking wine or whatever, no one's going to tell me what to do. It's probably going to end badly if someone, I mean, because I believe in a free country. Now, if they want to practice their own religion, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But they don't get to impose their faith
Yeah,
or religion on me.
yeah, I got the point.
That
You're saying that they impose their willings, right, to other
yeah,
people, right?
hmm
I know.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah. And okay, so now's the time for you to send a greetings and thanks and leave a message to the people who are watching us or that are going to watch.
uh-huh.
Feel free.
Okay. Oh yeah. Don't give up on your faith. You know, even when things are low, call on God to help with your problems. You know, and he should always be there. I mean, I've had some low moments in my life, and God was always there to pick me up. I mean,
Yeah. That's Christianity, right?
hmm
That's the truth.
absolutely. Yep, correct.
Don't worry, people who are writing here, Christian and the others. This video is gonna be linked here at
hmm
YouTube and also at the YouTube of our church later. But thank you,
hmm
Alexander, one more time for talking to us today. It
Okay.
was it was nice. I think people would like to hear someone from US, talking, and that's truth. I don't I
Okay.
don't I don't I didn't pretend to talk to you as a theological conversation, right? It's just
No.
to hear someone that is a Christian and living
Uh-huh.
abroad, and I think it was nice.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also Instagram, we're gonna have this video linked as well. Alexander, thank you one more time. Send hugs to your family, to Ariane, to Jason. Okay, God bless you.
I will. Okay. God bless you too. God bless you all.